So I'm Cath Hill, I'm a lecturer in social work and I'm also practice learning lead for the social work team here. And my research looks at support services for young people affected by a critical incident. So quite specifically, I've done a project called Be the Difference, which looked at support services for young people affected by the Manchester Arena attacks. I applied for promotion in March 2023. I applied to go from a grade 7 to a grade 8. My case was on a basis of getting a number 1 for research, 2 for engagement and 2 for teaching. I started the process in around January, so starting to write a draft of my application process and working with the person in our department that supports with that, so that was really useful. I found out that I had got promotion in May, and then that kind of took effect in August once I'd finished my PG cap. So the main activities for me that contributed to my promotion was two sides for me actually. So I had my engagement that was related to my teaching. I talked very much about how I've developed partnerships with local authorities to find good quality placements for our students and identifying new placement opportunities and working together with those partner organisations. And in terms of my research, I really talked about things like different advisory boards that I sit on, any talks or presentations that I've given, any kind of outside engagement with different organisations that are outside of the university. My top tips for any of the colleagues embarking on doing promotion for engagement is to really think about using the wording from the criteria, because that really helped to steer me to know what I wanted to be writing. So I would use those as my starting point and then fill in how I achieved that. So that was particularly useful. What's challenging about that though is there is a word limit to that. So if you've done lots of engagement, you have to choose which is your kind of top engagement activities. And for me, I wanted to show that I was covering a range of activities. So kind of university engagement, but also public engagement and media engagement and policy engagement. So I tried to find a range of those things, but to overcome the challenge of the kind of small word count that you have to stick to, you can also link to your Pure account and just make sure that you have everything in your Pure as well, so that if the people assessing it want to look at that, they can go in and see a kind of greater detail of what you've achieved over the last few years. So one of the things that I found really useful was to do initial drafts, because what's really difficult is to kind of succinctly say the engagement work that you're doing, and especially because you've been doing the work, it makes sense to you, but you have to write it in a way that everybody understands. So I did at least 2 drafts that I asked a senior colleague to look at, and they gave me some feedback, just particularly around how you can write things a bit more succinctly, or to make something clearer if it doesn't make sense to somebody that doesn't know your work. And then finally is to not be kind of too proud to sell yourself. Like what helped me showing it to senior colleagues is they said, you know, you've done more than this, you need to write it down. And I felt a bit shy and a bit bashful about that, but actually this is to get promotion. So, you know, be confident about what you've achieved and write it down. And if it's not right, then you will get, you know, feedback on that, but be kind of brave and bold and write what you've achieved.